Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. CNN, Supreme Court agrees to decide if mail-in ballots can arrive after Election Day. NBC News, Supreme Court to weigh imposing new limits on mail-ins in a major election case. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. The Supreme Court is not going to allow rampant chaos like we saw 5 years ago. Pennsylvania was decided that night in 2024 in November. If Pennsylvania could be decided that night, and France can count 35 million votes in one evening, the Supreme Court's not going to allow chaos and mayhem and pandemonium, the same types of things that Rick Scott had to deal with 6 years ago. Check this out. This is huge. Hit subscribe to H.A. Goodman's other channel. Go to H.A. Goodman for the live stream below right now.
Sure. So Chris, we have very specific election laws in the state to try to prevent fraud. We had to go to court to force the supervisor elections in Palm Beach County and Broward County to comply with the law, which is the law is there to prevent fraud. They were not letting party officials review, when they were reviewing ballots. They didn't report on time. We still don't understand how they went in these two counties and had a dramatic increase. Another 93,000 votes were cast, or somehow they came up with 93,000 votes after election night. We still don't know how they came up with that. So we're trying to figure out exactly what happened. I've asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to go in and do an investigation to find out what happened here. But we clearly know the judges have already said they clearly violated the law.
I agree with you. There were two decisions, one in Broward County and one in Palm Beach County, which both said that the election supervisors there did not comply with transparency in making information available. On the other hand, as you point out, you asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to investigate any accusations of wrongdoing, but the department says so far they've done nothing because they have no specific allegations of fraud. And the Secretary of State's office says the same thing. So certainly they were not as transparent as they should be, and that had to be remedied by the courts. But there are no allegations of fraud at this point.
Something as simple as moving boxes in a truck in the middle of the night could be benign or it could be a criminal act. That's how Democrats and media circumvent the almost certain truth.
Well, first off, the laws are set up to stop fraud. That's what the laws are set up to do. And let's look at what happened yesterday. We know Senator Nelson's lawyer said that a non-citizen should have the right to vote. Senator Nelson has gone to court to say that fraudulent ballots that were not properly delivered, signed, whatever, should be counted. Okay, Senator Nelson is clearly trying to commit fraud to try to win this election. That's all this is.
But wait a second. I want to pick up on that. You're accusing Bill Nelson of trying to commit fraud?
His lawyer said that a non-citizen should vote. That's one. Number two, he's gone to trial and said that fraudulent ballots should be counted. Ballots have already been thrown out because they were not done properly. He said those should be counted.
And you think that is the senator himself is committing fraud?
Well,
Chris Wallace is incredulous when Rick Scott's opponent wants actual fraudulent pieces of paper to be counted, or people who don't have documentation to be counted. So it's very interesting, and we can go on forever, but the Supreme Court, I mean, right here, this is really interesting right here. The Supreme Court's not going to allow this to take place all the time.
You were told 5 different numbers. Florida law says that all absentee early voting numbers must be reported within 30 minutes of the polls closing, correct?
Absolutely.
And those numbers
Sean, they found 78,000 votes. Sean, they've found 78,000 new votes since Election Day 2 days ago in Broward County, and 15,000 more votes in Palm Beach. We don't know how many more votes they're going to come up with, but it sure appears they're going to keep finding as many votes as it takes to try to win this election.
Right.
So I've asked the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to immediately do an investigation. We filed lawsuits. We're going to fight this, and we're going to win.
Well, she in 2016, her office posted results a half hour before the polls closed. That's an election violation law, but broken. She was sued for leaving amendments off the ballots. She also, in the case of Debbie Wasserman Schultz, why is this person even working there?
Well, what I've done is I've asked for an investigation, but we have examples. The Palm Beach supervisor won't allow normal party officials that are supposed to be reviewing ballots. They're not allowing them to do it properly. That's a violation of the law. They were supposed to report all these results. They're not. But how did they come up with 78,000 more votes? Just in Broward and 15 in Palm Beach. No other county is having these problems. We had a horrible hurricane in the Panhandle. It didn't happen there. The lawyers that come down said they're here to win the election, not here to say, oh, I want to find out what the results are and make sure there's fair results. They're down here for one purpose, and they've said that, to win the election.
27 days ago, the Panhandle was smashed with one of the worst hurricanes we've seen. They got their votes in on time. They ended up doing this. To me, this is the single biggest abuse of power in an election I've seen. And they have Mark Elias, the guy at the heart of the whole Perkins Coie, Fusion GPS, Clinton bought and paid for dossier leading the way.
Yep. I mean, they're down here. He's down here for one purpose, steal this election. And he said he's down here to win this election. He doesn't care about anything else.
He's down there to win it.
So we won. Yeah, we won. I'm going to be the U.S. Senator. I'm going to fight this all the way. We're going to do everything we can. We're looking at every legal remedy we can exercise. We're going to fight this, and we're going to win this. This is
and
wrong.
Every other county except Broward and Palm Beach did it the right way. Every other county, and they've done this before. And why does she still have a job?
Well, she's separately elected in these counties. And but think about it. Some of these other supervisors that did it the right way are Democrats also. So every other county, Republican or Democrat, those supervisors did it the right way. These two didn't. They have violated the law. We're going. I've asked the Florida law enforcement to do an investigation, and we've already filed a lawsuit. We're going to make sure we win this.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a blast from the past. That's just, we're not even talking about Arizona and other states as well. The Supreme Court is not going to allow this type of chaos and mayhem. This is a huge victory imminent for President Trump. The Supreme Court, when it decides to ensure that ballots and votes are counted no later than Election Day, it's game, set, match. You have Republicans winning on the national stage for the next 8 years. Easy. Considering that Democrats don't have a national candidate. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. Go to H.A. Goodman below in the pinned comment. Thank you.